Buonasera, questa sera, oh sorry, in Italian. Mussels, I've got 1 kilo of mushrooms, a few tomatoes, I will be using some plum.
No, you haven't got any mushrooms. You're going to have to start the whole thing again. You haven't got 1 kilo of mushrooms.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
Is somebody tired?
Mussels, always fresh, always green, frozen parsley.
Do you want to say that again? Because it's not parcel, it's parsley.
And we add a little bit more, always fresh, always we add a little bit more, always fresh, always fuck. Buonasera. This evening I'll be cooking mussel pasta, actually mussels linguini. You could also use spaghetti if you wish. I went to the supermarket and I bought some fresh mussels. I've got 1 kilo of mussels, some plum tomatoes, but also you can use some cherry tomatoes, and a chili pepper and some garlic in olive oil. That is pretty much the extent of the ingredients. We will also be adding some parsley in a little while. So I'll start by pouring a little olive oil in a pan, not a lot for the first part of this recipe, and I will be also crushing a couple of large cloves of garlic. You can leave the skin on. I've got a chili pepper, a mild chili pepper. I will be using 3/4, actually I've already nicked some before, but that's fine. I will be using 3/4 and putting it in. You can cut it fine, or you can even leave it whole. You also leave all the seeds inside, because this is mild anyway. I've got also some always green, always fresh frozen parsley, which I'm going to be adding. And from cold I will be adding my mussels, which I've already washed. And I'll put them on a hot stove. At the moment they are on maximum temperature. They will not take long. I'll put the lid on, and effectively what we want is for the mussel to open up. So maybe 3 to 4 minutes. While the mussels are cooking, and we will prepare the next part of the recipe, so I'll chop the remaining chili pepper in relatively small pieces, and again I'm going to leave the seeds because it is a mild one. I've got another large clove of garlic, so obviously this recipe is good if you like garlic, and again this time I'm going to be removing the skin, which I've already done, and I will be chopping it fairly fine in this case. And we add a little bit more of our always fresh, always green frozen parsley, and I'll keep some for later. I'll put this on one side, and we're going to be chopping some of our tomatoes. This is a nice addition to this particular dish. You do not need a lot, by the way. You do not want the tomato to take over, but just enough to give it a nice flavor. And what I will be doing, the smaller one I'll cut in half, but the bigger one I'll cut in 4 lengthwise, because they will look prettier.
Show me some of your hands in the way. Delish.
Ensure your knife is very sharp when you do jobs like this, because believe it or not, a sharp knife is a lot safer than a blunt one. Keep them on one side, and we're going to be checking on our mussels. They are cooking. You can see that they have opened up. There is still the odd one which is closed, so we're going to be leaving them until they're all open, but there's a lovely sea smell coming up. So they have cooked for 5 minutes and they're ready, and they are all opened. If any of them are closed, by the way, you need to throw them away, but they all look pretty good. Next, I'm going to drain the water. Please ensure that you keep this water. This is the most important ingredient in the whole recipe. And we're gonna let them cool down for a few minutes because they're too hot to touch. As I need the pan again, I'm going to pour them into this larger glass bowl. The mussels have cooled down, and I'm not going to be removing a few from the shelf, actually the majority from the shelf, and keeping some of the prettier ones in the shell for decorative purposes. I'm using the container they came in with so that I don't have to mess anything else up. The garlic is here as well. I am keeping mine, but you can choose to throw it away if you want. It's cooked, so it's not going to be as strong. Job done. I will be honest with you, Julie helped. So here are the deshelled one, and I will be adding also the ones with the shell. And we now move on to the next phase. That is, as I said before, using the same pan. I will be putting a fair generous amount of olive oil now, because actually there are not that many ingredients, and olive oil is a key ingredient in this particular recipe. And I will be adding my tomatoes and parsley, garlic, and everything else in there. You can use your hands. We will put our mixer on the hob, and we will allow it for it to come to a sizzle first. In the meantime, I've put some hot water on so that we can start getting ready for our pasta. Once it starts sizzling, just turn the temperature slightly down. I was on max to start with. I'm now going to go on halfway on a moderate heat. I haven't used any salt in this recipe. I don't think you need any salt. We'll put some salt in the water, but you don't need any salt with the mussels. They're salty already, and you will find that it's perfectly okay without added salt. Are you getting creative? Yeah?
Are you going to throw the? How can we be creative about getting the salt in? Perhaps you can go. Gosh, it smells lovely.
Just that on its own is lovely, isn't it? Mm. You know you're recording.
How much longer? It won't be too long, will it?
No. Okay, the water is boiling. Put the lid on. That will reach to the boil much faster. And I will be adding a little salt to the water. Again, you don't need to go mad because it is going to be fairly salty naturally anyway. This recipe is for 4 people, so I've got here 400 grams of pasta. Julie asked me to be a little bit charismatic about putting the spaghetti or the linguine in, but I don't know now how, so I'll just throw them in.
Well done.
Maybe charismatic is not the word, it's elegant. The linguine will take approximately 7 to 8 minutes to cook. You will want them to be al dente. Okay, the pasta is only a few minutes from being ready. I'm now going to add the mussels to my sauce. Do not forget that magic water. You will have noticed that I haven't put any wine in this recipe. Lots of people put white wine when they cook fish. I used to, wanting to be honest, but one day we ran out, didn't have any white wine, so I didn't use any, and it tasted better. So actually, I've not been using wine ever since. Of course, the best way to test your pasta is to taste it. Another couple of minutes. I've added a couple of spoons of pasta water. This is because the starch from the pasta will make the sauce a little bit creamier. so something you can do. It's ready. And I'm going to now add the linguini to the sauce, or to the fish. I don't want to come across as clever. I do actually have to drain mine because I do not know how to capture it all. And we'll give it a good mix and stir for a further minute. Make sure that you do not run out of water, because the pasta will be absorbing still some of the liquid, which is what we're actually looking to do here. We want the pasta to get the lovely juice from the fish. We're nearly ready. What we're going to be doing next, we're going to be adding a little bit more of my always fresh, always green, always frozen parsley. I will stop one day, I promise. To give a lovely flavor and also color. And a little bit more olive oil. That is compulsory, I'm afraid, in this recipe.
Smells delicious.
And we mix it. And we will serve it. I will do one portion for the purpose of the video. But Julie, I promise there'll be some for you as well. You can see that the mussels with the shells, they are quite pretty to look at as well. So if you are entertaining people, that would be quite a nice dish to serve. And do not forget, of course, some of this lovely juice at the bottom. You don't want to just leave it for the last portion. And we'll pick a few more mussels. And now we do a compulsory taste. Yep. It's lovely. So I'm not going to say more. Very simple, as lots of the recipes I do, and very quickly, and took about 15 to 20 minutes beginning to end. And what a lovely meal. Thank you. Ciao ciao for now. Enjoy your meal if you cook it. Until next time, arrivederci. Bye.